Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We are back. The Adassah at Large on Sunday show. And what a beautiful day we have today. I hope you've remembered to put your clocks back and tuned in on time. Oh, yes, the clocks have been back. And it is now 2 minutes past 11 a.m. on a Sunday. Hope you're having a great Sunday. And we have got a great artist on today. We have got the winner of Stars in Your Eyes. We have got jazz eclectic international artist, dual heritage, Sierra Leone, British. Yes, and he is absolutely sensational. Oh, yeah. We have on our platforms the one, the only Gwyn Jay Allen. Good morning.
Good morning to you too.
How are you, Gwyn?
I am very well, thank you. Would you believe when I did the advert for the show, I mistakenly put that the clocks go forward instead of backwards, but I had to change it.
It was actually one of my international brothers that reminded me. Imagine that.
You know, I remember I put us forward instead of backwards.
Boy, it's so confusing. I totally understand. It's so I get confused all the time. I get confused every spring, every autumn, like which way round it goes. So
You
yeah,
know,
I'm gonna try it. One day I'm gonna get it right. One day. It's wonderful to have you on the show today, Gwyn. We're gonna have a great hour and a half today. Absolutely
gonna
fantastic.
go quick.
Oh
I'm all
my goodness, if it's gonna go quick, I'm telling you, it's like I've known you forever.
from day one. Like I said, in the advert, from day one, it's like click.
It was just like click. It's like I just knew you from
Yeah,
before. It's like hi, it was
forever.
like hi, Gwyn. It's like and that's and it's just like
I know. It doesn't always happen, by the way. It doesn't always happen. But when
okay,
you know,
yeah, yeah. I do understand what you mean. Yeah,
sister from another mother.
yeah. Definitely so. I talking about sister from another mother. Your roots, and you're born in the UK, but your roots, your parents, and where you've lived for many years, is from Sierra Leone, Gwyn.
It is, yeah. And so our roots are the same, So I'm Creole, and
Uh-huh.
even though we call it Krio, but it's the same. Creole is the same as Creole from the West Indies, from Jamaica, right? Am I right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Uh-huh.
I remember I was talking about, the melting pot that is Sierra Leone, that's Freetown for freed
Mm-hmm.
slaves, where everybody came to. The Maroons came from
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica to settle in Freetown. People from Nigeria came, from Ghana came, from Nova Scotia, from the US came. People, those who fought on the ship on the way, into slavery were returned back. So it's a melting pot, So our history, is linked big time.
It really is linked
Oh,
a lot, isn't it? Because the many of them that settled in Jamaica, that where my parents are from, got shipped back to Sierra Leone, and hence why the language is very similar. The broken language is very similar, and
very,
also our surnames as well.
yeah, yeah, very, very much so. I was in the grills for, we went to the grills, we went to a wedding, and there was about maybe 10 to 15 of us, all from Sierra Leone, speaking Creole. And we went to get some jerk chicken, in the, the usual place that you go to. So we all like lining up and we're just talking Creole, and the Jamaicans are looking at us like, these guys just sound too familiar. We know you're not from here, but what's this? And they had to come and ask us. And then we were all sitting on the table and they were all like chatting with us and realizing that, wow, the language is so similar. Put the tin pan the table is exactly what we would say.
Yeah, yeah.
There might be some slight differences. Like we would say pantap, which is on top. You guys might say the same thing. Put the tin pantap the table. So
Yes, we say put the thing on top of the table.
You see. So, when I travel, I just love languages, especially our language, our patois. In Jamaica, not in Jamaica, in Tobago, there was a lady who was saying to somebody just across to say, she used the word tote, and for us, we use that same word tote, and it's in French, it means a bag, and it means to carry.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there, and then this woman says totem, or carry it. And I just, oh my God, it's the same thing we say in Creole in Sierra Leone. I love it. I really love it.
Definitely so. And I did my little bit of my research as well, Gwyn. And you was on a BBC documentary where the presenter was went back to Sierra Leone, talking about the Sierra Leone roots and the experiences of the people. And you was a great host. I must admit, I must tell you this. You're a great host. Anytime I want to go Sierra Leone, I want to tour around with you.
Well, I've had so many requests. You just do it naturally because I love my home country, and you do it naturally. And yeah, it was Romesh Ranganathan, the big UK comedian.
Yes.
And I mean, I can write 10 books about us just meeting, and him coming down, and the whole thing just came out of nowhere. I mean, I was one of 6 that was interviewed by the BBC to be his host. And so again, you see on the series, he's like, well, you sound like a Londoner, and the BBC were not really too sure whether I was actually authentic, because of this English accent. So I actually had to speak Creole for them to realize, okay, he can switch, because Creole is not the main language in Sierra. Well, it is the main language, but there are 13 other languages, but everybody speaks Creole. Yes. So we had such fun when he came because, I just mess around and laugh and joke. Obviously, I've traveled, and he didn't really even know that much about me. But the whole series actually changed. The formats changed when they just saw the rapport that we had together, the stuff that I'd done. They'd found out about me, my passion for Sierra Leone. So the format that it usually took in all the other countries that he went to totally changed, when he came to Sierra Leone.
And his view, Ramesh view, and just outlook on Sierra Leone, because at the beginning he didn't know how to quite take it. He didn't know, and it was great because he still kept an open mind and everything. And by the end of the documentary, he was just so in awe of the land, of the country, and you could tell that he had learned so much. And the documentary, anybody that's not familiar with Sierra Leone would have learned a lot about Sierra Leone, would have learned a lot about you as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people said the best advert for Sierra Leone because it was very positive. Because people always think about, old blood diamonds, Ebola, mudslide. They always think of the negative things, which is why Romesh comes to find out, well, what are these people really like? Are they resilient? What, is this a tourist, dreamland, which he found all those to be true, so people get to hear more about, people who actually live there. It's like, you go anywhere, you hear all the stories from the media, and they're totally untrue of actually what happens in the country. So, Romesh was pleasantly surprised, at how beautiful, Sierra Leone is, and also the people, how resilient they are, and the history, is such a melting pot of so many good things that people don't know about.
Well, we've got a little bit of a clip to show everyone what we're talking about, how beautiful the time was spent in Sierra Leone, and what a great host you were as well, Gwyn. Here we go.
In a population of 7 million, so we're all right.
What's your background? Because you sound like a bit of a London geezer, I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm a bit of both, you know.
Right.
But I was born in Loughborough.
Really? I've come all the way to Sierra Leone to meet a guy that was born in Loughborough.
and then we came when I was 4.
Yeah.
And then went back to study. So that's why you hear it. Looks like we're almost there.
So what happens here? How'd you get out of there?
You have to do a 3-point turn.
Are you winding me up?
I'm serious. I said, Mama, can I say with the turn here? Now for look for me. What bank boss you go tell me?
While he attempted to get us off the ferry, Gwyn outlined the plan. We would spend the week gallivanting around the country, taking in everything from the chaotic capital Freetown to near deserted islands, exploring national parks and the country's complex dark history. We would start though with a trip to see what Gwyn promised to be world-class beaches.
Now, Gwyn.
Wow. I tell you what, you're a great driver.
With a Land Rover, that's very hard to drive as well.
My goodness. That's what oh, that's what stood out in my mind.
You saw all those rough roads, you know. I mean, a Land Rover can take it, but you know, you learn, you know, it's not everything's not, you know, in order. You know, people crossing the road. You know, there are signs people ignore. You know, traffic laws, and you just have to, you know, go with it. So he had an awakening when we arrived. And when I think we went to the beach first, you know, and you know, he didn't know what to expect, and we just got so many pristine beaches along the coast. No country in West Africa, if not even Africa, touches us, you know, for that. And we went from one beach to another to another. It's like, what? This is a paradise, you know. So I didn't have to say much.
Oh wow. I would love to go there.
You can come. I got so many. Would you believe it? I wasn't even on Instagram like maybe 2 weeks before, and Ramesh is saying, "Gwyn, you got to get on Instagram." You know, I'm like, "What's that?" You know. So, I quickly joined Instagram, and I got over 1,000 subscribers in a space of like 3 days.
Oh my goodness!
Before the program was aired, because obviously he had advertised it, and he's saying that, you know, meet my host, blah blah blah. And before you know it, 1,000 people. And so, and they were all asking, you know, oh, we'd love to come to Sierra Leone. I met one lady whose brother hadn't been. She was Sierra Leonean, hadn't been for, I don't know, 20 odd years. We met in Sierra Leone. And she's like, oh, you're that guy that I saw. I must tell you that you made my brother come to Sierra Leone. He hadn't been for 20 years. You know. So a lot of people were saying, you know, I was a great, you know, advertiser, you know, for Sierra Leone, and they wanted to come, just like you.
You definitely are. You really are.
Thanks.
And you were born over here, but you went to Sierra Leone to study. What is it like studying in a different country?
It was quite. Listen, well, I was 4 when I went back, so I went to primary school and then came back to secondary school here, partly secondary school here, and then I went back to Sierra Leone to finish secondary school, and then so I've been doing this all the time, and then came back to study, you know, at uni here. But when I was 13, 14, so I went back to secondary school. So that was quite different because, you know, I kind of understood the language but didn't speak it very well. I spoke with an English accent, so you know, you got a lot of, you know, teasing at school for that. And then also fitting into the system, because the system was like the old colonial system. You know, you had a science stream and an art stream, and you had to choose. You know, you were either in the arts, or a doctor or an engineer or whatever. So, but also the subjects as well, and I was slightly rebellious because, for instance, I'm dyslexic. Now,
Okay.
yeah. Now, as far as Sierra Leone or West Africa is concerned, you're just stupid.
Yeah.
So I had that. Then I had the cultural change, from going to school here and then going back there. So there's quite a few things that was, and the system there was, the education system was very, very high. You had to really work hard, and so took me a while, like 2-3 years to kind of adjust, to the language, the culture, and everything. But I relished it, and in the end, when we started doing like the African writers series, like Chinua Achebe, and then I lit up, because they were about African stories and, and African characters and so on. So slowly, things got better, but it was a challenge.
It must have been a challenge. And how tell me the difference. How did your peers react to you in the UK? Because you would have been somebody new, different, an accent, I would imagine, as well, compared to your peers in Sierra Leone, because then they would have known that you're coming from the UK, and then there'll be a slight difference with that as well.
Yeah, it's so different, on either side, So when I was 11 to 14, came to secondary school here, and so that was an eye opener for me because one of the things two things I always remember is that you go into school, when you've like lived in Africa, you don't really look at yourself like you're black, you're just African,
Yeah.
So you just carry on, and my parents have always been very open with their friends, and so you're just Gwyn, but so you did get some prejudice, even at that age. And so I think we're all showing people photographs of our house, and we lived in a 3-bedroom house on like a 1/4 of an acre with fruit trees and blah 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 blah, and a lot of them just didn't believe that was my house. I came back home upset, and my parents explained that I should expect that, because that's not their view. This was talking about 1972, 73. People, and that was the norm for me. Dad's an engineer. Mum's a principal at a school, owner school, and that was normal. But for them, they just didn't see Africans, as being that affluent or that educated, and so that was quite something. Even we had careers subjects. So when I put in for what I wanted to do, I can't remember, some kind of profession, because our parents always wanted you to be doctors, lawyers, blah blah blah, and the careers teacher was basically almost laughed at what I wanted to be. And I said, well, my dad's an engineer. My mom's a so and so, my uncle's a doctor, a gynecologist, so. I came back home upset again, So, but I had some really great friends at school, like 2 friends who remain. One particular one, Danny Heatley, and Mark Parker. They were really, really close friends. I met Danny, my God, maybe 3 years ago. I looked for him on Facebook. I hadn't seen him from when I left in 74 till 3 years ago. I found him.
Wow.
He lived in Lambert. No, where did he live? Not Lambert Grove. Shepherd's Bush. He lived in Shepherd's Bush. Yeah.
Oh, that must have been incredible.
So he was so excited to see me. So I met him. He was married to a Mary from New Zealand, from Australia, and we were almost in tears. Every 10 minutes we look at each other and just hug. Danny Hill is white, by the way, white guy. And we just look at each other and we just hug each other again. It's like me meeting you. There was something, his dad was a musician. He remembers every single thing about me. He remembers seeing me on Stars in Their Eyes. and saying, "Oh, I know that guy, I know that guy." You know, he used to be my friend. He remembers what color drumsticks I used to have, you know, at that age. It was just, you know, he was into, because his dad took him to the West Indies, in fact, to Jamaica. His dad was a double bass player. He became a
Wow.
musician, and he knows so much about the Black culture. And to this day, we talk, we WhatsApp. He's moved to Australia, and so that friendship stayed, you know, never changed.
And
Danny Heatley, Mark Parker lived. Oh, I can't tell his address, but his address stayed in my head in Gunnersby, Zion School for Boys, where I used to go. I just turned up, knocked on the door. This is after what, 20 years or even more, I don't know. And the mom looked at me like, "Shouldn't I know you?" I said, "Yes, you should." I said, "Mark Parker's house, right?" I remember the address from Chelsea,
wow.
and he was still there.
It.
So they said, "Come back." You know, they hugged me, blah blah blah. They said, "Come back." He would have finished work, and I just knocked on the door, and hours later, and Mark looked at me and was like, you know. So that describes, you know, the two differences between, you know, being in the UK and so yeah, I've had both experiences.
Wow, that's incredible. And while you were talking about those experiences, you touch on stars in your eyes. Oh, where we saw you. This was a very turning point in your career. And we're going to talk about it, but I'm going to show everybody a clip
Oh
of
no.
Gwyn Jay Allen in Stars in Your Eyes. Let's all guess who's he's impersonating.
Louis Armstrong!
We have all the time in the world, time enough for life to unfold all the precious things love has in store. We have all the love in the world. If that's all we have, you will find we need nothing more. Every step of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. We have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love. Every step of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. Yes, we have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love. Only love.
Sweet love.
Louis Armstrong.
Tell you.
Now, oh my God, that's so spectacular. I loved that show. I absolutely loved that show.
Remember, did you get a chance to watch that when it happened or not?
I didn't. Now,
Oh,
what year was that again?
1997.
Yes, 1997. I was bogged down finishing my dissertation and doing my exams. So there was no telly for me.
No telling you. It's an amazing story behind that happening, that was my first TV, appearance. What happened was, I had a friend called Stanley James Brown, and he knew I was like mimicking, Louis. I had a tape that I had done, I think, trying to look for work. So he took the tape, didn't tell me. He sent it into the BBC, didn't tell me a thing. And then when he got the call to say, who's this guy who would like to have him into audition, that's when he called me. And I'm like, what? You did what? He says, yeah, you got an audition. So I was just, happy. I just went for the audition, did it and left, whatever. Then I got a call to say, we would like you to be in the series. I went crazy.
Wow, we love friends like that.
I know. And obviously he came to it, Stanley came, Otis Graham also came, Magnus Cole, they're all my friends, they all came, and the family to the show. And to be honest, obviously we practiced a lot. And to be really honest, because you do 12 series and then you go to the grand final.
Yeah.
So my series comes, and then, you have to stand up and wait to say who's won. I think I was competing against 5 other people.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I think I was just so happy to be on TV. I wasn't thinking about winning. All I wanted to do was just get on TV.
Yeah.
So in my head, I wasn't like, oh, I might win. Da, da, da. I wasn't thinking about that. So if you saw the whole series, I was shocked when they said you'd won.
Wow.
And now going to the grand final, I was like, what? I just thought it's good enough getting on TV, but winning and then getting to the grand final. So that was great. Absolutely brilliant. And that changed. It did change because I started getting calls from agencies, to perform, I remember, my manager at the time was Magnus Cole, and we went through an agent. I got called to do 3 songs and they paid a huge sum. I've been on TV. I was like, okay, yeah, this could work. So yeah, and then from that, I auditioned for the West End to play Cab Calloway in the Blues Brothers, and I got the part. So things just, and this was whilst I was doing my day job, as an interior architect. So all this was all happening, crazy.
So you just got so many talents. So your day job at the time, and you still do a bit of it as well now, is an architect.
Yeah, I still do.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they go hand in hand, because I've been working as a project architect or contract architect, on contract. So you fit in the music, in between. So I do the same at home. You can work remotely, especially if you're not on site. So you can work. In fact, there was a moment when I started doing that when I can't remember. We were touring. The Blues Brothers were touring, so I was in my hotel room and I was designing something. So you email the design off. Then I went to the gym to get ready for the show. In the evening. And I just thought. I remember this moment, like, what can you ask for? You're working, during the day. You learnt all your lines, blah blah blah. You've done that. Then you go to the gym to get ready. You warm up your voice. And then you go on stage and you perform and you come back home and I'm like, this is the perfect day, So yeah.
And you know what? I can tell that's how you keep so young because you haven't changed, Gwyn, from that appearance in 1997. 1997 is how many years now? 27 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And you haven't changed. how do you keep looking so young?
Well, the other part of me is that I've been studying karate since
Ah,
1979.
oh,
So yeah, you know, I train a lot and I teach a lot. So I think that
ah,
also, and I love my glasses of wine and beers, but I don't drink much. So and I try to eat healthily. I'm
yeah.
under the thumb. When you get to this age, your food have to be colorful. My wife says. So in other words, lots of vegetables, blah blah blah. So I think it's a combination of that. I love exercising and I love
Yeah.
karate, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
you
also, you see
obviously.
my mom. My mom's going to be 90 in December. You would not believe. So there could be some good genes there as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Wow, that's fantastic.
yeah.
Wow. She'll soon get a letter from the from your
Oh
family.
no, from the king. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, from the king. Yeah. Wow. That's
So that was my
brilliant.
first TV, appearance. You do know that for the Romesh, the Misadventures of Romesh,
Mhm.
that episode that we did in Sierra Leone together, that
Yes.
won a BAFTA nomination. Did you know that?
Oh, wow. No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that bit.
Oh yeah. So I got a call from Ramesh. Oh, Gwyn, the BBC are really liking our series, blah, blah, blah. They might put it up for nomination. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, and the next minute, Gwyn, we're up for nomination for the BAFTAs for that particular series. So
Brilliant.
last year, I
Yeah.
came to the BAFTAs, and there I was, sitting amongst all the stars, Lenny
Yeah.
Henry, sitting amongst uh, Adrian. Is it Adrian? I can't remember what his name now. Anyway, all the guys were all there, sitting amongst them all. It was great, and obviously, to be nominated is a huge thing. So there you
Of
go.
course.
Yeah. So now you have to call me BAFTA nominated Gwyn Jay Allen.
Oh, sorry. So, Sir Alan. So, I'm so sorry. I should have put it in the title. BAFTA.
So I know you're a sister, but don't forget, you know,
I'll put it in the
nominated.
title. I will
That's a
actually.
nice surprise for you, right?
That's incredible. It's always when you least expect something, that's when it all comes through.
It's always happened to me, that way. Because, I'm not trained, like, Papa go to school to learn to sing and perform. I've
Yeah.
always loved dance, did dancing competition with my sister from age. We used to win all the dancing competitions, do the robot and all that. So that just came naturally,
Yeah.
And then singing started at church. You sing in the choir really badly, really out of tune, and then slowly, you get into it. So, and also, I had like 3 years with some great jazz musicians where I was singing at the Dorchester for 3, 4 nights, if not more, 5 nights a week for 3 years. So I had
Wow.
like creme de la creme jazz musicians in my band. So that was like going to University of Jazz. So I learned very quickly, about singing, performing, and but I've never really studied. But they really taught me, Larry Bartley, Arnold Kanu, Andrew McCormack, all those guys that I played with, Alex Wilson, which I'm sure we will come to, you
Oh,
know,
yes.
all these guys have really, really, trained me, to be where I am today musically.
Ah, that's so beautiful. Talking about Alex Wilson, you two have such a great rapport, and you work together so brilliantly, and that's how you came to my attention through Alex. So a big thank you to you, Alex. Hey.
Yeah, he said, get on the Adassah at large. She's a lovely lady, but be prepared for everything. He did warn me.
I brought him right out of his shell. He was like a little bit surprised. I was like, and he's like, okay, I'll go for it.
He's my guinea pig. So I was like, I better be ready. But yeah, Alex
He
and I
was
were,
an absolute great sport.
he is a lovely, lovely guy. Such a great heart. We go back from 98. His first album, Afro Saxon.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote one or two songs there and then went on tour with him, and then we've been working together since even before 98. These are the guys that groomed me, in the jazz scene, singing live. So Alex and I have always worked together, and we have, and he's also, partly from Sierra Leone as well. So we have that, So and also just how we work together, how we think, how we work together, and Alex really sharpens me big time. Right till today, he sharpens me, and we produced, the first album, I Love Louis, a Creole tribute to Louis Armstrong. So that was our second project. The first one was his album, and then the second one is a Creole tribute to Louis Armstrong, which we had. I think that was done in 2006. We went to Australia, perform it there. We also had Roy Hargrove, the late great Grammy award-winning trumpeter Roy Hargrove, on our album. So yeah, Alex is a great, and obviously, I'm sure you're going to ask. I'm not going to say too much about what we're doing now. I'll leave that to you.
And I am going to ask you. So what are you doing now? You and Alex doing now? What you up to? What you two up to?
Well, in the last year, we've released a new EP called The Return.
Mm-hmm.
And we recorded this a way back, but I was off doing stuff, he was off doing stuff, and we decided that let's release this. So we had a few songs that I'd written, new songs, because we've done the Louis Armstrong Creole tribute, which was great. That went all over the world. I was even asked to perform at Louis Armstrong's house on his birthday in Queens, New York. That went down very well. So I started writing all these other tracks. I went over to Switzerland, we recorded them, and then we thought, we need to release this. Peter Conway, my manager, who's Alex's manager way back. That's how I met Peter Conway Management. And so working with Peter over the years, Pizza Express, Dean Street Jazz Club, I think we did a gig there. We've done quite a few gigs. So they saw the new theme that Alex and I were doing, which is called Freetown, The Return, the journey of the African diaspora, my journey, his journey. And they asked us to record a live album at Pizza Express, so that was great. So it kind of culminated together, one, recording the album, two, doing a live recording of it, and then now we've just released an EP. And even today, we've got a song that we recorded live, because that was recorded live at Pizza Express in Holborn. So it's both an audio and a video recording of, I think it was 11 songs or something like that, which we're going to be releasing, throughout. But we've done a 4-song EP, and I timed it so that today, Black and Blue live at Pizza Express is released today.
Wow.
Yeah, you should have that. That should be one that you play. I'm not sure if you got it.
I should have that, Black and Blue, and we are definitely going to play it right here, right now. Can you hear it? Good? Good.
Cold empty bed, springs hard as lead, seems like old Ned, wish I was dead. What did I do to be so black and blue? Even the mouse ran from my house. They laugh at you and scorn you too. What did I do to be so black and blue? I'm white inside, but that don't help my case. 'Cause I can't hide what is in my face. How would it end? Ain't got a friend. My only sin is in my skin. What did I do to be so black and blue?
Alex Wilson.
He's brilliant.
Alex Wilson. I'm white inside, but that don't help my case. Because I can't hide what is in my face. Spantos, 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 yeah. How would it end? Ain't got a friend. My only sin is in my skin. What did I do to be so black and blue? Black and blue. Black and blue.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is just pitch perfect. That is, and you know what? You two are even more incredible live because I went and saw you on the 5th of October at the, Pizza Express, yeah, in Holborn. And it was just so magical, honestly. I was just so still. You know, when you're just so still, I was just so still, just taking it all in, just enjoying it. And it was just a real delight to see both of you. It really, really was. Real pleasure.
I must add on that gig, we have a new partner, a film score writer, called Ed Farmer. And I know if you were there early, you would have heard his soundscape, which started each set.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he, they both got me to do a monologue which introduced the show, and the next monologue introduced the song, The Return. And, lights were down, and then you just hear Ed Farmer's score underneath, soundscape underneath with Alex. And then, the monologue starts. People are like, where is this coming from? And then the light comes up, and then seamlessly we continue. So great thanks to Ed Farmer there,
Oh,
for
thank
joining
you.
the team and taking it to another level.
It's so great. You guys look like, and I could feel the love in the venue that day. I could feel the love. I could feel the admiration, the respect, the appreciation of the music and sound and everything. It was just so beautiful.
Thank you very much. The band were great, to get great musicians
Mm,
like that. They play with huge names. Neville
yeah.
Malcolm, on bass. I mean, who hasn't he recorded with? Who hasn't he toured with? Chris Jerome, same thing. Who hasn't he recorded with? Who hasn't, these guys are hard to get. And Dominic Grant, on guitars, played with Courtney Pine, and so many other people. Rod Youngs on drums. I mean, they're all mature men, but everybody contributes. Everybody respects each other. No ego. Everybody's for the song, for each other. On that gig, like Chris was playing, some piano solo or something, or I think it was on the keyboard, and we all heard it, and we just like, when it's live, even though he's supposed to have like maybe 8 bars, we just like let him play. So if we always like, you're having a conversation, if somebody's saying something interesting, we all just let him talk. The same with music, and there's so much respect, so much love, and also just what the theme is about is also, I've been told sometimes you just perform, you don't really like plan it, and I have a friend, an Italian English friend, Piero Barroso, and he said, it says, you've taken us a journey through your life, your dips, how you've come out, and it's very hopeful. You're very genuine about sharing, your journey, and it says, but it leaves you hopeful, in the end. And I thought that's really, really. In fact, I actually recorded him. I said, could you say that again? Let me record you. So you get to, and so the experience that you had is similar to the experience that he had. So we feel that we are, we're touching people's lives by sharing our lives.
It really is. And it's so beautiful that you're able to express yourself so openly through your music and through your words. And in such a open, frank, yet not judgmental or accusational or in any other way, just to really put it out there and share and and let people know what's happened, what's going on, how you feel, your the impact it may have happened on you, and your people as a whole, as a race, as a
Mhm.
culture.
Mhm.
and and I really respect that, and I could see the audience respected that and really appreciate and learn from it. Going,
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, this particular song, Black and Blue, it's released specifically for Black History Month, which is the month of October. And I remember performing that song with Alex in Australia. So it was about the album. Louis Armstrong sang this song. So we would lift the audience up, very joyous music about Louis, whatever it is. And we're still telling the story of Louis. Story of Louis is the same story, our story. It's the same Creole. And then the lights go out, the trumpet starts in the corner, spotlight, and then the spotlight goes off, and then it comes on me. And I sing Black and Blue in a different, and I sing it as Louis would sing it.
yeah,
After the show, one lady came up to me and he goes, why did you have to sing that song? And my answer was, that's why. Because it resonated, with her about what we go through, that
yeah,
we don't always talk about, and you've got to talk about it in a very palatable form and say, this is just our reality, and we we walk through it, we overcome it, and we move on. This week, or the last 2 weeks, I've been doing leading a program at Essex Primary School, Black History Month program, and the principal there, together with my manager, they give 2 weeks to teach the kids about Black history, which I think is an unbelievable program. Alex Wilson set it up with my manager. A few people have done it. I led it this time, and we did the Windrush generation. So what I will do is I'll teach about that, and we would write songs about that. We pulled out 4 characters. We make the teachers write the script. The kids write some of the songs. We work with them. So we did Floella Benjamin, who did Play School, one of the first Black ladies in Play School in the UK. We did Benjamin Zephaniah, the poet. We did Billy Ocean, and we did Desmond Dekker. And how they came over, on the ship, why they came over, when they came over, what did they do, what skills did they bring, engineers, nurses, RAF pilots, so all the kids learn about that. But I teach it in a similar way that I perform, So we had all the different characters. Desmond Dekker, I remember Desmond Dekker teaching him about Desmond Dekker. So the teachers have written the script, and they're all, we're singing different songs or whatever. So I said, let's listen to how Desmond Dekker sings. An Italian speaks English with an Italian accent. A French will speak English with a French accent. Let's listen how Desmond speaks with his Jamaican accent. So I made the character now change the way he speaks. All that TH, all has to change to them, D. This is how, and then I got Desmond. I said, when Desmond Dekker walks on the stage, he walks with a swagger. So I got this Asian boy, dressed like Desmond Dekker, and he has to walk in with a swagger. You're teaching them these things. They're laughing. They're laughing about it. And then I had 120 kids in the hall, and we chose One Love as the last song to sing. Let's get together and feel all right. So there is one question. Listen to this. I'd really love to ask. So I said, hold on, rewind. I said, so the words were on the screen. I said, I'm going to play Bob Marley, and then I want you to see if you hear him say ask. He says ask, I said, so we're going to change our accent. We're going to sing it. And then the other one that we did was Don't Stop the Carnival by, what's his name? Davis Knowles. Don't stop the carnival. Oh, no, don't stop the carnival. And the good relationship in the heart of Notting Hill. Let the carnival go on. Don't stop the carnival. So they were singing carnival. So it says carnival. And they laugh,
Yeah.
Listen to the way the man sing. I said, so when I'm singing opera, I have to pronounce it like an opera singer.
Yeah.
When you're singing reggae, you got to sing it like they sing it. So I said, let's listen to Bob Marley. Let's see how he pronounces it. And they all changed their accent. So different things, like that. I even taught them a Creole song from Sierra Leone, which is like a praise song. It's a church, song, but and everybody can sing. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It's Father God, whatever. And it's in Creole. So I won't go into detail, but anyway. So my Creole is Ade Esop me and I'm lifting up my hands. For tell you thank you. Thank you is thank you. Boku thank. Boku thanks. Oh Papa God. So I teach them one class. They so loved it. By the time I was leaving that day, they were saying, because they call me Uncle Gwyn. I don't allow them to call me Gwyn. They have to call me Uncle Gwyn.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And when I was leaving, because I told them that thank you is thank you in Creole, And I was leaving, 3 other kids were saying, thank you, Uncle Gwyn. And I got goosebumps. 3 days later, I came. Those kids were singing the Creole song word for word without looking at the words.
Oh my goodness. They'll never forget that. Gwyn, they'll never forget that. You have changed their life forever. You have planted something in each and every one of them. Some have they've absorbed it more than others, but you've left something in them,
Even the
real
teachers,
positive. Yeah,
even the teachers are touched. It's
yeah,
like we have to learn to be thankful.
yeah.
So you don't push it in their face, but I
No,
just say this is my experience. I don't even have to explain it too much, but
yeah,
everybody has to have gratitude, thanks, in them. There's somebody to
yeah,
say thank you to, you
yeah,
know. And the school is both Christian, Muslim, whatever, and they pray. So I just tapped into that,
yeah.
and and they were, very, very complimentary. The whole school. That song just touched, so many people. Like giving thanks. You don't give me life, you give me life. You don't give me strength. You know, you give me well body, and you make a gladdy. Gladdy for us is happy, gladdy.
Ah,
So I explained to them the words, what the words mean. You pull me pan darkness, you brought me out of darkness, and they all do it.
yes,
Bring me
yes.
inside your light. They do all the actions. It was
Oh my
awesome.
gosh, I wish I was there.
You know? And so, what a time, for them to learn about Black history and coming back to Black and Blue, releasing it today for Black History Month.
Brilliant. Oh, everybody go and get it. Black and Blue releasing today. We're going to put the details down and at the bottom of the screen shortly. Black and Blue, the single. Go and get it on all digital platforms, Gwyn.
All digital platforms, yeah.
Black and Blue. Okay, that's brilliant. And talking about something that makes you feel so good, I tell you what made me feel good.
What?
I love your song, Na Sodem.
Say. That's so them say.
And Na Sodem say. Oh, I forgot the say.
Yeah. Which basically means that's what they say.
I love it. I absolutely
I'm going
love
to play
it.
you a little bit of it live. How
Are you
about
going to
that?
play me a little bit of that live?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. That'd be excellent.
I
Oh, my goodness. Oh, we're
have
going to
the
get a
guitar right here.
live performance. Everybody. I act like a baby. I act so silly sometimes, Gwyn.
So a little bit about the song. It's written, again, you asked me what happened when I came from the UK, went to school in Sierra Leone, what was my experience? This is part of that experience. It's right in the middle of teachers telling me that I'll never amount to anything, because of all the issues that I was having.
Yeah.
And this is a message to those teachers and those that put you down and say you'll never amount to anything. So, and my song says, now so they say I no go better, I'll never become any better. And so they say I no go learn. They're not afraid for loud and tongue. They're not afraid to speak out loud. They're not afraid for putting me down. They're not afraid to put you down. But what God says is for you will
Yes.
come true. What He says will be, it will be. That's what the song is about. So here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Just play. You want to play all of it or just some of it?
A good little amount of it.
A good little amount. Okay, I know what I'll do. Here we
Okay.
go. Can you hear me clearly? Now so they say I no go better. Now so they say I no go land. They're not afraid for loud and tongue. They're not afraid for put we down. Waiting God say now for you, it must come true. Waiting He say go be, it go be. You wait and see. And so they say I take too long, but I'm for say I prove them wrong. They're not afraid for raise their voice. They just they make so noise. Waiting God say now for you, it must come true. Waiting He say go be, it go be. You wait and see. Yeah, waiting God go do for me. Yeah, I tell them, you wait and see. Jesus Christ died for me. I am away.
it. We love it. Woo! Woo! Woo!
You like?
We did like. I don't even know what that means, but I just said it.
You basically said yes, we like. Oh man. Yeah, I remember Ramesh saying, so we were in the car. I mean, you probably remember it. And he said, so how do you say, in Creole, I love you? And I said, well, we don't actually say I love you. I said, if I was gonna say it to like a girlfriend or something, I'll say, I like you bad.
Ah.
I like you a lot.
Yes, I know, yeah.
And like is like, and Ramesh cracked up big time. I like you bad.
The only thing I know to say, I don't even know if I'm saying it correct, is Sierra Leone's howdy body.
That's it. Howdy body.
Howdy body.
Yeah, howdy body. You've been researching. I'm gonna give you some lessons after.
The body fine, eh?
The body fine, oh. You've been doing your research. You're gonna start teaching me soon. So howdy body, Adassah, howdy body.
Everybody fine, oh.
Perfect.
We love it. It's excellent. I'm having such a great time.
Yeah. So what a great time. What a great time I had at the school. Lovely time. It just finished on Friday.
Oh.
I'd love to go back.
I'm sure they would love to have you back. I'm sure they will.
During lunchtime, they all come up to you, Uncle Gwyn. Even the principal's wondering why they calling you Uncle Gwyn, because I have a way of talking to them. And also, in fact, one of the kids say, well, one of them asked, oh, why are we calling him Uncle Gwyn? And one of the kids say, out of respect. And I says, perfect. It's true.
That's right.
Yeah. The kids in our school in Sierra Leone, they all call me Uncle Gwyn, and it's just a sign of respect. It's our culture, of giving respect to elder people who are teaching you, same thing.
We have that too. We have that too, Gwyn. Once somebody's a certain age, then it's like, okay, you got to call me auntie now.
Yeah, that's good. And you learn from that. You learn this first name business. Sorry.
No, it doesn't sit right, does it? It's just not. It's just a cultural thing, and plus, you got to respect age as well.
Yeah, I think it's even deeper than a cultural thing. I remember seeing an interview with Maya Angelou, and she was. I'm not sure whether you've seen it, but she was like in an auditorium with maybe college students or university students. And one of them said Maya, and she stopped her. She says, no.
Ah, yes, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. It's so true. And, when she did that, I was just so happy she did that because it sets the tone.
It does. Yeah.
It really does set the tone. And people don't realize how much of a tone it sets, and it brings you through into all areas of your life, your personal life, your professional life, how you interact with people.
Yes.
And it can bring you great rewards and you don't even realize it.
It's very true. Very true. One of the things I did at the school, my manager said, I want you to surprise them. So for the first time, they hadn't seen me. Obviously, the first time I'm being introduced to the school, Gwyn Allen is going to be leading Black History Month. So I introduced myself, married, 4 kids, 3 grandchildren, that's finished. And then we showed them a clip of myself and Ramesh because the school has a big Asian population, and they all know Ramesh. So my manager said, we showed them the clip. And as I'm showing them the clip, they're showing them clip, I go off and get changed into my karate gear. So the clip ends. I got Ramesh to send them a private, a personal message about the school, because Uresh used to be a teacher, so he prepped them up, about honoring their teachers and talking about because the whole theme was Black History Month was reclaiming the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So Ramesh spoke about how his parents came over, what it was like being an Asian comedian and, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that finishes and he says, oh, the clip is finished. Gwyn Jay Allen. So I come back in full gear, karate suit. And you can hear everybody's going, this is the same guy? I walk in and in the space in front.
That's right.
And I say, I'm going to do a very senior kata. He said, Shotokan, Gojo, Shio. I do the kata and I start slow. And then, no one said anything. And then I just like do some really fast moves. One kick, two punches there. And then Anyway, I bow and they clap like this guy, I thought we just thought he was a musician, and an architect. What's this? And then he's on the movie, he's, on the film. So then I tell him this story, talking about the reason. I'm sure you're wondering, what am I getting to? About respect. So when you're doing like traditional karate, I told him about a story. So my teacher, Shinji Akita in the UK, Japanese, and he was teaching. And the tradition, of karate it's not just about fighting, and it's about, respect, discipline, focus. So I remember a parent bringing in like a 9-year-old kid and bringing him to the class late and telling him to go and join the class. The kid pulled his hands from the parent, went down on his knees, it's called César, and waited. And the parent went to sit down on the bench in the corner. And he waited until the teacher did that to him for him to join the class. Then he got up and he went around the side to the back. He warmed up. Then he comes to the side of the class and waits until the teacher does that. Then he joins the class. And I said, this is a 9-year-old. I said, so this is about respect. You don't just walk into the class. You're late, first of all. And by going on your knees, you're acknowledging that you're late. And you wait until you're called in, And so this is all about respect, the Uncle Gwyn, the Angela Maya, saying, no, I'm not Angela to you, and this is cultural. It's yes, but it's also universal. It's just about showing respect to your boss, to your teacher, to your mom, to that uncle, to your granddad. If you don't have that, then what do you have?
Yeah, if you don't have that, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. You're going to come across a lot of obstacles, and you'll have less favor.
Absolutely. I like that. You will have less favor. That's wise words.
Yeah. So it really is. I'm a big stickler with manners and respect.
I with you there. Totally with you.
It was high top of the agenda growing up.
Yes, me too. Got some licks. Online.
I managed to escape the licks though. I was the youngest.
I didn't.
But believe you me,
like you were a good girl. You were like, compliant.
I was good girl. I fell in line. Yeah. I didn't want to get no licks.
My younger sister, Solange, she didn't want to get any licks. My older sister were too similar. She was always pushing the boundaries,
The younger ones learn. They see what the older ones go through. They're like, no. They know the triggers.
Yes.
We ain't going though.
So true.
We learn that art very, very quickly.
You can tell what I was like at school. I was only messing around, trouble. One of the guys who big trouble, but just always messing around, always.
It's just children. There's all kinds of varieties, and just adults need to just be a little bit patient with children sometimes, and and give the example, the right example, because us adults can be a little bit hypocrites sometimes.
Yeah, you're doing one thing and doing another. Exactly.
Yeah, we're doing one thing and then we're telling our child to do it. But our child learns through our actions,
Yes, they
not
do.
through our words, our
Yeah,
actions.
our actions. Yeah, my boys, two sons. So Sean's 37 and Nathan's 38. And Sean's married, and we were all Nathan, Sean, and my grandchild Zalia. We were all sitting down chatting, and they were telling stories about them growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and to my daughter-in-law Judy, and they were saying, "Oh, Dad was liberal." They said, "But we know the line he gave. We know when we crossed that line." And one of them, I won't name. One of them had disobeyed and had done something that he wasn't supposed to do. I'm restraining myself from telling the whole story so that his friends don't have a go at him. But Nathan, the elder one, was reciting the story with Sean there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember disciplining him the next morning,
Mm-hmm.
and so Nathan says, "So, Sean, if your daughter did anything like what you did," he didn't even finish the line. He said, "What would you do?" He said, "I'll do exactly what Dad did to me." And so you can tell that they push boundaries like I push boundaries.
Yeah.
But that boundary remained. He didn't do it after that.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah. So you
All
got to.
children push boundaries, like my friends, they used to go to this place in the evening on a Friday called, oh gosh, what's the name of it? I think it was called Club. I think it was just called Club, something like that. And it was a little bit too late, it finished at 10 o'clock. And, we're like 13, 14. And my parents were strict. My parents are like, you're not going nowhere. Simple end of. I got a bit brave. I think I was about 15, just turned 15. I thought, oh, maybe, hopefully, I'm hoping, my parents can cut me a little bit of slack, And my mom's a crafty one. She was a crafty one. I'll go to work first, because that's what children do. They play parents again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I went to my mom first and I said, Mom, can I go club, And then she's asking me a whole series of questions, because I'm thinking my mom's the liberal, cool one,
Yeah.
and she says, and she shrugged her shoulders and she said, ask your dad. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm not too sure how to make out that answer.
So what happened? Did you go? Did you ask?
Yes, I did ask my dad.
And
my dad goes, my dad started asking me all these questions as well. And I said, Dad, can I go then? You can go to your room and do your homework. I'm like, my goodness, these people are so cold.
You got the message.
I got the message quicker, but they were a team. That's when I realized these two people are a team.
You're not gonna get round one.
My mom deliberately did that. She knows the answer.
Trevor Watkins is a jazz pianist, really, really great guy. And he told me this story, but it's like a joke. He says, maybe it wasn't actually. I think it happened to him. He was like, teenager, he wanted to go out, wanted to go. He says, some mom said to him, where you go? He says, I go disco. It says, disco? Disco, take off your clothes. That was a line. No, I go disco. Go take off your clothes.
I just like, there was no, I'll tell you, those generations, there's no getting around them.
No getting around them, no.
It's just zero. But you know what? at the time, I was a bit disappointed. I was a bit like, but I didn't sit in it, because I knew that there was some dangers going to that place.
Mm,
There was there was a few undesirables there,
right.
and there was a lot of courting. Let me put it politely. There
Nice.
was a lot of courting going on there.
I know what you mean by courting. Yes. You've used an alternative word. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah, and that is a no in my home.
Big no. You said your mom was the cunning one.
Yeah, yeah.
So was my mom. Very short story. So I love playing cricket, and I was quite good, and they called me up to go and for Sierra Leone, because we had the Sierra Leone against Ghana, Gambia was quadrangular, Nigeria. Yeah, Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Gambia. So they call you up to go trials. That's what they call it.
Oh,
Trials.
the trials. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Big time. And we lived just near the cricket ground. So I'd done something really, really bad and I was grounded. So, but I thought because these are trials, I'm going to go, right? So I went to my room, got all my whites, on and everything. I come to the kitchen. So same question like Trevor. Where you think you're going? Mom, I'm going to, cricket is trials. Oh, yeah? Okay, come. So I come. Palm oil?
Yeah.
Mom had already put her hand in palm oil, and it's the only whites I had. And she went from here down to my knees with palm oil. And she says, now you can go. I told you you're not going anywhere, and now you're definitely not going anywhere because you don't have any other whites. Boy, I never forgot that. Never. So when she says no, she means no.
Yeah.
And I learned that with my sons. When I say no,
Yeah.
I mean no. And if you don't teach them, you don't give them that line, you don't show them, no. And like you say, you don't follow through yourself with your own life, then you're not setting them up well. Anyway, so much about that. I'm sure you got other questions to ask. We went off on one there.
It's so good. It's so fruitful. Have you seen the screen, Gwyn?
Yeah.
Do you see? Do you see my change?
Nominated, yes, Sir Gwyn. Nomination doesn't mean 19, but I'll take it.
You take it, Gwyn.
I'll take it. Yeah. BAFTA nominated changed Sir Gwyn Jay Allen. I love the ring of that. Oh man.
I thought I'll surprise you with that.
That's nice. BAFTA nominated, double whammy. BAFTA nominated, sir. Yeah.
Oh, it's been wonderful so far. We haven't finished yet. We've got still 10 more minutes left.
So much more to tell you. Did you know? I'm sure if you have a question, please go ahead. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure that you researched the war that happened in Sierra Leone. And
I was going to touch on that. Yes.
Well, touch away.
I was going to touch on that. So there was a civil war in Sierra Leone. And I want you to tell me how it impacted you. And also, I know that you were right in the midst of something quite terrifying at one stage, You tell us what happened.
Yeah, so I was there for a wedding. I went with my sister Andrea for my younger sister's wedding, and so I went with Andrea and her two kids. They probably were like 6 and 4, something like that. And then war broke out whilst we were there. So we decided that we would try to leave So on our way out, at the heliport, for whatever reason, they suspected that I was, because I had a British passport, that I could have been, I don't know, some agent, some double agent. I don't know what you want to call it. So they held me hostage. And they took me away from my sister, who, went crazy because they said, we're going to find out who you are, we're going to kill you. And I'm cutting it short. And so there was a period when they took me into the bush, one particular guy with a gun and circling me and interrogating me. And I tell this story on the Romesh thing. And for whatever reason, he was like firing questions at me. For whatever reason, I got out of it, and I found out later why. So before I was released, which was a day and a half later, they'd beaten up one. There was 4 of us that they held. They'd beaten up one of them. The other one was a friend of mine. He got drunk and disappeared. I don't know how I was the only one that they held. So later on, the guy who was interrogating me, we were all sitting there, ammunition, guns in this very low ceiling place. I can't even remember. And then he actually told me that when he was interrogating me, he was trying to get me to use the word kill. He was asking different questions, in a different way. For whatever reason, only God knows why. Because I could have just said, "Oh, you could kill that guy." Oh, or use that word "kill" in any shape or form. He said I was trying to incriminate, or I can't remember the exact words that he used, to manipulate me to use the word "kill" so he can pull the trigger and shoot. That stayed with me for 3 years. I almost vowed I'd never go back to Sierra Leone. It's traumatic. My sister lost her daughter because she couldn't get medication. She went ill during the war, so we lost her. My dad was shot at the door of the house trying to protect my mom and whatever. Luckily, he didn't get killed. So much happened, and I vowed that I wouldn't go back. But 3 years later, I went back for the first time. And I tell that story singing the song in the album, I Love Louis. The song says, "Nobody knows the troubles I've seen, nobody knows but Jesus," And so I tell the story in the interlude about that. So yeah, there you go. I can write a whole book, but there you go in a nutshell.
You can definitely write a whole book about that. And did you get any counseling for it, Gwyn?
Nope.
So how did you are just such a positive, inspirational man. How did you manage to pull yourself out of it and be resilient, basically?
Yeah, I mean, it was traumatic. There are times when you couldn't talk to mom, you couldn't mention anything to do with the war about it. Mom would come and visit us in the UK for holiday. There might be, and my mother-in-law at the time, and I remember either one of them. So you're watching a movie, and you just hear a gunshot, and they'll just jump up. So you go through all of that, and yourself, So I guess going to church helps, praying, and I probably, I let a lot of stuff that's going on internally through song, through praise, through worship, through maybe talking to the wife or friends. So it's over a period of time. You don't plan it, but that's how you get it out. You don't internalize it. And God just heals you. That inner healing, comes through. You get a better understanding of it. Your fears. You let it all out. I do a lot of that through worship, through songs. You let it all out, and you realize that you've come through. So there's no program, no set program. And a lot of people in Sierra Leone haven't been through any counseling, through what they've been through, and you see in the documentary, amputees, when you hear their story, you think yours is nothing compared to what they've been through. And yeah, it takes time, but I've come through it, and sometimes you get a little niggle, a reminder, And that's just life, you know.
I tell you what, you've pulled through great from it. You're such an incredible guy. You're so positive. You know, you've got so much people, and I've seen it for myself, that love and respect you and just appreciate everything that you do.
Thanks very much. Everybody's got a story. Your story is, you realize, is not far different from many people who've been through worse. And it's how you've chosen to come through.
Yeah.
And always have hope. At the end of the day, a lot of people don't have hope.
Yeah.
And so I share that, as giving, of myself, and to say, listen, I've been through this. This is how I've come out, through it. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and my faith helps me through that. That's what I got. I think it was today that I heard somebody says, you never know you need God until God is all you have left. So like in the time when I was being, whatever. So I'm talking and I'm praying at the same time. I'm talking because it's a split second before the shot goes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason I'm praying, I did not use that word. I would not be here having this conversation with you. And sometimes
That was
God
not your time, Gwyn. That was not your time.
Amen.
God is covered you from head to toe.
Amen.
Head to toe. He knew that your work is not done.
Amen to that.
And you have so many lives to impact and to change.
Amen. So it's just through sharing your experience and your faith. If people want to hear, you just tell them how it is. And a lot of people have come back. And I had one guy, never knew him. He was in tears after. He says, that song that you sang really touched me. And that's why you do it, and to keep people hope and share your life. I'm no different from anybody.
You're unique. You're you.
Thank you. I'm definitely on Gwyn Jay Allen.
So Gwyn Jay Allen, I thank you for coming on the show. I'm gonna end the show with the return.
Ooh,
We want you back. We want you back on the Adassah at Large on Sunday show. So you will return.
I like that. Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. It's gone so quick.
Didn't I tell you?
You did.
I told you it goes so quickly. Time doesn't wait on anybody, and everybody knows.
Too long, sister. Fighting.
I just feel very privileged to be talking to you, to have you on the platform, and just keep the link. I'm going to support you whichever way I can humanly can. And everybody, please go and get the latest single, Black and Blue. Please go, and all digital platform and everything else that Gwyn Jay Allen has, including the return that we're going to be playing, that's playing in the background. Gwyn Jay Allen, have you got any parting words?
Well, all I can say is that life is for living, which is the next song that I've just written. With all the war that's going on, that there is good news, and you feed on good news. And my good news, that's where it comes from. Because if you feed on bad news and there's no hope in where we're going, there's hope in that good news. The gospel. That's my last word.
Brilliant. Thank you. Sir Gwyn Jay Allen on the Adassah at Large on Sunday show. Thank you. We're going to be parting with the return.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye for now.
Rise and fly. And so like an eagle, like an eagle, like the eagle. This is Freetown. We are here now. Your sons have returned. Your trials we have earned. We are free now. This is Freetown. We are here now. The sons have returned. The trials we have earned. We are free now. Walking down the line from the north in the days of the pharaohs, down south through the belly of the motherland, the land that is Africa, undivided souls, undisputed milestones, stories still untold. This is Freetown. We are here now. Your sons have returned. Your trials we have earned. We are free now.